Hey, what's up, guys? In today's topic, I'll talk about the concept of darkness and light. What actually it can mean and how you can see this, let's say, technique, method, philosophy in different type of fields, in different type of areas, due to the fact that it is a part of life, darkness and light and shit like that, you know. Before starting getting into the topic, I would say that maybe you have seen a lot of different allegories, even though maybe you don't know that those are allegories to this concept, but still you may see a lot of different things that involve darkness and light, and you coming out from the darkness into the light and stuff like that. That can be in the religion, that can be in different myths, that can be in different cartoons, that can be in different fields, that can be in your own day to day, in different cycles of yours, you know, which involve you getting, you having a habit, you having an addiction, you having some type of emotion that you're in, you having some type of idea that you're in, you're having some type of thing that you're related, associated with, and how it also is being involved with darkness and light and shit like that, you know. To start with, I would like to say what the darkness could actually mean. You know, I mean, like, okay, different type of you being in the forest or you being in the bottom of the sea and shit like that, and you're trying to get out of that light, you know. So yeah. So basically, what is darkness? For me, as I have kind of explained it for myself and interpreted it in such a way that darkness is everything being together at the same time, but due to the fact that everything is so mixed together at at the same time, at the same moment, that thingy makes that mixture makes all these different thingies not exist and then turn into one. Therefore, everything you have everything in same shit. Therefore, it is like nothing. You have nothing at all. So you have all the different lights put together. Therefore, you have darkness because from darkness you create something, right? From nothing you create something. Therefore, you see this something. But when you're in nothing, there's nothing. Everything is like all these somethings are in this nothing, but you have to kind of separate this something, this specific thing from the nothing. Therefore, you will see this something and stuff like that, you know. So it's like, for example, as you, let's say, you just sitting here in your room and you're like, oh shit, what should I do? And you have different type of stuff that you can do. You can draw, you can make a song, you can cook, you can write a book, you can listen to music, you can do push-ups, you can do different type of stuff. You can go outside, have a walk, you can go sit, meditate, you can go make a video, you can go I don't know, draw, as I said before, and shit like that, paint. And it's like you're sitting here and you have all those different possible stuff that you can do, and it's like when you pick one of those things that you decided to do, you ended up, let's say, deciding on you actually sitting down and writing a poem and shit like that. Yeah. So you take that concept of you wanting or you having the idea that you, from all the different possible things that you have, you decided to separate the specific. I want to write a poem. You like separate it from everything. Now you have something that you are going towards, or you will go towards. You know, so you have something as a not a motivation, but to some degree you want to do this at this point, right? So to some degree it is a motivation that you're going towards, and you're going towards that stuff. So that's okay, a concept of you coming from the darkness outside, or like you leaving the darkness because you entered the light. You know, basically you are in the darkness because everything is in the darkness, but when you separate some specific stuff, um, when you separate it, you know, from the different things, you kind of focus on it more and you kind of dive into it. When you get into it, you know, when you get super into it, like, okay, now I'm drawing, actually writing in a poem, and you're in this role thinking about what will be my next quote and stuff like that. At this point, you already dived into that world of drawing, and you kind of are living now there, you know. So how I can also how you can picture it, how you can draw it is in such a way that, let's say you're in a dark room, pitch dark, right? You cannot see stuff. You cannot see shit because everything is dark, and everything is dark. You cannot, you don't have hands and shit like that. Everything is dark. Everything is dark. Now, or like, let's say just close your eyes. When you close your eyes, everything is dark there, and now to some degree you can have some type of ideas. You can create your own self, right? And you can create, let's say, some type of environment. Let's say you're thinking about your family reunion. Now you have this picture of you having your family reunion, and now actually you're putting your own energy into it. So you're putting your feelings and thoughts into it, right? And they have mixture, and they create another thoughts and another feelings based on those thoughts and feelings that you initiated into it, right? So now you're actually created something from nothing as a orb, right? You created this picture, this scene, this, like, let's say, box of you being at the family reunion. And now you're diving into it, now you're living it out. Now, for example, you imagine you having conversations with your parents, and their reaction on your words will also reflect. You'll also have a reflection of that, so you may feel some type of way, even though you're not experiencing it in the real lifetime, right? You're not talking to your parents, you just imagine it, but you actually already feel in some type of way when, for example, you're telling them, oh, I want to do this type of stuff, but for them it's not convenient, and they're like, nah, it's better for you to do this. Now you're even actually feeling in some type of way, even though you're not even existing there, you know, in real life, in this, like, like in physical matter. Mm. So it's like you're living there, It also ties with my I think my okay, it also ties with my um Hotel Four Seasons video. So if you'll watch that video, I think you'll get a better sense of what I'm trying to say too. But there's not it's not something hard to get, you know, and stuff like that. So then you're living out this imagine. Wow. You're living out this imagination, you know, at some degree. This imagination will also come to its own end, you know, because at some point you will not be able to fulfill it anymore with thoughts and feelings, because you already maybe thought about all the possible outcomes and all the possible mixtures that you could have. But it's like also depending on what you created, right? And how much you dive into it, because at some point you can dive into it, it's just an imagination, right? And you can get out of it, so you don't have it anymore. So you created another imagination that you jumped into. So that doesn't count as dev. To some degree it is dev because you left it, but it's not a dev in that ecosystem yet, right? The dev in that ecosystem will be the moment when you already not able to put thoughts and feelings into it, so you don't put no life into it anymore, and it's like you already live there based on what is there already. You know, it's like, for example, as you have your phone and you're charging it, and the moment when you're charging it, and the same time you're being on your phone, so it's like you can use your phone for like 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, because it's always loading, right? But the moment when you take it out and you already don't put no energy into your phone lives based on the energy that it has, right? But at some point the energy in your phone will die eventually. The same concept is with imaginations too. You can live out your imaginations to that point, to that end, that it's only death, right? And due to the fact that there's death in that ecosystem, and you decided to still participate in it, it's like you're getting into that. Let's say this specific imagination is like a dream, right? It's like a dream. Let's say dreams come true, right? So you have something in your head first, then you bring it down here and stuff like that. So you have dreams come true concept, and here you also have it to some degree, because idea, the same stuff, the same shit. You have some type of imagination, right? And you let's say it's like your dream. So but let's say we are now in this imagination for such a long time that it already goes through its like death process. And due to the fact that you think that this dream that you're having, experiencing right now, is a part of you, it's so real that you actually kind of started to pay more attention towards it. You started to care about it more, because it with times it became more realistic, right? And you're swimming in that imagination world, and now it goes through the phase of fall and death and winter and stuff like that. So now you may experience something that you will experience some not depressive, but like moments coming to its end. Depression will be one of those. Depression would be one of those examples. The same as with, for example, you not being able anymore to put no feelings and thoughts to this imagination will also make you feel some type of way that you're not creative enough, but maybe there is no there is no stuff left for you to add on top of it. So it's like at this point you don't actually have to care about it anymore. You just have to leave it and go to some other place, and then you can use maybe the stuff that you learned from it, to take it with you. This would be the nice concept of you bearing the fruits that you getting the fruits that you bear, you reaping the fruits that you sow and stuff like that, right? But you can also reap it in a negative way, where you actually in that world still and reaping the stuff that you reaping the fruits that came from the concepts of you not leaving that specific space at the specific needed point of time, right? So now you're reaping already the rotten fruits. Those are still fruits, but those are fruits of the season that the specific ecosystem goes through, right? And this specific ecosystem that we are talking about goes through season fall and winter. So now you're reaping fruits of winter and fall, and they may not be as sweet as they were when you were like having your brightest days, in summer and stuff like that. So that would be also one of the concepts of you getting in your darkness. So it's like you already left it's not like you already lived so much. Let's say you went to that extent that it already gets heavy on top of you, also the same concept as I said before. You have a lot of stuff and you have separated stuff, right? So this heaviness would also to some degree count as a lot of stuff, because you have, for example, let's say you have winter outside, right? You have 2,000 coats on you and stuff like that. So of course it's heavy, but with each moment when you will take one coat, second coat, third coat, you'll get lighter and lighter and stuff like that. So the same concept is being shown here, but due to the fact that it's low-key another field, another maybe to some degree ecosystem, and that ecosystem has its own lenses, that representation of that stuff, of that energy of lightness and darkness is being filtered through heaviness and lightness at this point, not because of that specific ecosystem that situation is growing in. So for you to get out of darkness and not drown in it, you have to create some type of light that you will go into. But even that light will have its darkness at some point. And then you have to also create another light for you to get into, or like for example, just in the world of darkness that you're living in, just create different lights, so the darkness that is happening there will be brighter and brighter. So that's when you will live in that specific ecosystem that we created before, right? So it's not like it goes through its winter phase and that's it for it. Of course, you can still put your own lights into it and bring back summer and stuff like that, with your own force, because that's the creation, that's not you. But you also have different things that you dive deep into. And of course, you also have your darkness and you have your light and stuff like that you created. But from the get-go, you are darkness. If you take out, cut off all the different layers, all the layers of you being like your name, of you being your zodiac sign, of you being your this, of you being your that, of you having your this experience, of if you're cutting out all the layers, even the layers of you like seeing with your eyes and all the philosophy that you had, you get into the like root as like for example a baby was just born, right? Even like beyond that, it's like you get to the point that you are yourself is darkness and part of everything. You yourself is just like some specific type of light that was projected and now it's going on its own way, but it's like a bigger ecosystem than the ecosystem that this specific light will create. So this type of light, like for example me, I can create my own lights, as a light, as a darkness, that as a part of darkness. So low-key, what I want to say, like me as an example, I'm a part of darkness which was separated as a light, but still like a part of darkness, so I'm still with my mama low-key, but I'm more of a darkness than, for example, my creations, that I will create, the other lights that I will create, because at this point they were made from me and I'm made from darkness. So it's like they will also have their own darkness, but the thing is like now it cannot create lights because I'm more aware and stuff like that, shit like that. But that brings me more closer to the darkness than the darkness within that creation. But low-key, everything is this same darkness if you look at it in that way too. So yeah, so we are all lights. We are all different lights. We are all different darknesses, which are then lights, which in the end came from darkness and stuff like that. So that goes, for example, this darkness and light theory, that goes for everything in your life. So you can use it for your own advantage. For example, when you're in depressive mode, for you to get out from it, you have to find some type of light and the better and the brighter the light, let's say, the longer you will stay maybe on track and stuff like that, so you'll not lose it. So that means that you need to have a better motivation, or you need to have a better some type of imagination that you can dive and invest yourself into. So it will not be in such a way that you, for example, let's say you have some type of imagination, a dream that you want to reach, and the dream is you getting $1,000, right? And you, through your life, you go through different phases of somebody like talking behind your back, of somebody hating on you, somebody saying like, bro, you're just wasting your time, but you know that you're gonna reach to those like $1,000 and stuff like that. And that's the only hope that kind of at some moments, that's the only thing that keeps you pushing, right? So when you get to those 1K, it's like maybe you'll celebrate, but the thing is like now you'll get into darkness because you already lost your light, and therefore the brighter the light, or like the more bigger is the light, the longer lasting is the light, the kind of better it maybe would be. But that also goes in a negative way. So for example, when this light that you're going towards is, let's say, negative, depressive or like evil, I don't know, then you will go there and it will look as bright, but to the fact now it will be upside down, like in the world of hell, everything what is bad low-key is good because we are in the domain of badness, the same way is here. So the better, the worse the light will be, the better it will, the brighter it will be and stuff like that. But the longer you will go, maybe some of the examples will be to get some type of money in an easy way. Here you have to hustle and stuff like that, but here you're like, oh shit, let me just like sell drugs or rob people and stuff like that, It may look very promising, but you will reap also consequences from it, that you dived into that stuff. And maybe when the longer maybe it took for you to get there, the longer it will also take you to get out of it. So that would also go for drugs, where you spend all, let's say, all your money on drugs, and you smoke every day and every day. So then when you stop smoking, it will be hard for you to like maneuver the first days, because you're not used to that you were using, you know. So now you're at your low-key also dark days, maybe, you know, or maybe your dark days were even it's like now you're also going through your dark days, but the dark days maybe started at the point when you understood that, bro, I'm just like wasting my life to some degree with this bullshit, you know. So yeah, so then you understood the whole, like, oh damn, all my 3 years that I passed with me doing this specific thingy, it all low-key is trash, you know, and you now you're in your darkness and shit like that. But you have to have some type of hope that will be also as a light, and will to some degree pull you out of it, you know, because in the end we are all darkness, and it's only the factor that we get lost in our creations, we get lost in our lights, and we experience the darkness itself, you know. We experience the bad days. But you know, that darkness is low-key different from this darkness. In this darkness, I mean that everything is in one, but at that point, it's like more darkness, but in a negative way, you know? It's like, I don't even know how to explain it, to be honest. I hope you get the sense. Because I was talking about the darkness, that if you have everything that is created, everything possible that is created into one, that's gonna be like one, and we call it darkness, because from darkness then you create light. So then you separate, okay, this is university, this is a hospital, this is this. But if you take all the different things that you see around, McDonald's, this box, Coca-Cola, me, light, loudspeaker, I know, the car passing by, and if you take all of this together, there's gonna be darkness, you know. But now we separated, everything has its own thingy, everything has its own machinery, everything has its own this ecosystem, different lens that it looks, sees the world through, and stuff like that, you know. But the darkness in like within of you, that would be, of course, that would be heaviness, because you're in this world so much that you already, that it's so real that you get lost into it, you know. That first of all it was just imagination, but now you're actually, as with the example with the parents, right? First of all it was just imagination that you created, but now you experience it so to such a degree that even the fake imaginary reactions that your parents are giving your words are making you feel some type of way in real life, you know. So that's how real it gets. But I don't know if I can call it also darkness, as with the concept of the creation from the darkness, you know. Can you call that darkness? Because it is heaviness to some degree, right? So all these thoughts and feelings, now this imagination, you have to, like, you know, it's falling down. Like, you created it, it had its birth, now it has its summer, you're living it out, but then it has to some degree go to its winter and its fall, and now you see it falling down, and you don't want it to fall down. Now you're trying to pick it up and stuff like that. You're like, oh, bro. Now it makes you feel some type of way. So yeah, so be careful with your creations too, and not forget that you are the creator, not the creation, because we are all creating everything. You know, in any second you can switch your philosophy. Of course, that's gonna be hard because you invested already. It will be even ridiculous to some degree. For example, let's say you're a gangster and stuff like that, and you're like sitting down here listening to me, and you're like, okay, he said that I can change my whole moral and philosophy like in just like that. Okay, you can say you are a nerd at this point, right? But this gangster that in you, he will look at this like you being nerd now, and even you will, depending on how deep you associate the uh, gangster side of you with your other yous and stuff like that, you know, with your maybe overall you. That's how you're gonna look at this nerdness. You know, maybe it will look ridiculous for you, and you'll be like, it's not even possible. Like, what the fuck, and shit like that. But actually, you could get into that philosophy too. But it also takes time, you know, for you to even then compare and contrast. Like, okay, now I can actually say that I'm in my Nordi phase, you know. It has to be as heavy as this gangster world for you, even for it to be visible and even to be on the same scale, you know, for you to compare and contrast what is better and what is not. Because at this get-go, this Nordi thing is like so light, it's like in the air, you cannot even see it, it's not visible. It has to turn into a cloud, then it has to turn into a rain, then it has to drop on the floor, then it has to like give some life to a seed, then a tree grows out, only then summer comes, and only then a fruit grows, and only then a person eats the fruit and shit like that, you know. So such a long journey it has to take for it also to be compared and contrast if this another fruit is like sweet enough as the previous one, you know, and shit like that. So yeah, so I think those basically are the techniques. The different thing is that you're the creation, you also are the creation, but we are talking about this little inside, you know, the creator who was also created, but the overall black hole, not black hole, but the overall darkness, the beyond everything, the initial source of everything, you know, the darkness itself is within of everything, of anything, and shit like that, you know. So have fun also with like you creating your stuff, not forgetting that you can get lost into it, and when you get lost, don't forget that you can get out of it. And how to get out of it, you maybe you have to understand the surroundings, of course, in some of cases, because if you don't understand that you are now getting drowned in a swamp because it is a swamp, and you don't understand that, you just like stand there like, oh, why I'm getting why I'm being pulled down here and shit like that, and you're getting lower and lower and lower and shit, and then you yeah, and then you get lower and lower and lower. But when you understood like, okay, I'm being sucked into, I'm being drowned, I'm drowning, so I have to get out of it, you know. Now you get the light of you, like first you have to come up, get the idea that you have to get out. You understood, that's where's the problem, I guess, is, you know, people when they are in their darknesses, they don't see shit because everything is dark. They're like, oh, what the fuck, everything is so bad, everything is so bad. But when they understand that they are in the surrounding that they low-key created, and that's not the end of it all, they can create some type of light and get into another light. Now they have a hope that they created, then they jump into this hope, and this hope now pulls them out from the swamp and takes away from that forest to the promising land that they were like trying to get in the get-go, you know. But then they got associated with some other thingy, and that other thingy was pulling their attention and energy towards this forest with swamps and shit like that, you know, which then made this poor little guy almost get drowned in it, you know. So that's yeah, I think that's it, you know. I tried to do this video like once. I had like 5 minutes for me to speak and stuff like that, and then I was like, okay, let me maybe do like a retake. Now I did a retake, and I guess that's because, you know, to some degree I don't have the flow of me just spitting bars, because before I was actually just spitting bars and stuff like that. We're just saying stuff, you know, blah blah, examples. I can actually stretch this topic like I think maybe I'll even stretch it, or you'll hear it a lot, because this is one of the concepts of life and light and stuff like that, you know. So this is actually one of the concepts of light. When you understand it to some degree, it as a method or a machinery works on different type of fields, you know, and you can take it and you take it with you, and you understand like, okay, this works like that here, this works like that here, this is here, this is here, this is here. So okay, everything, all those things have the similar concept. Therefore, so for example, that thing also has a similar concept, and therefore I will not be drowning there in a specific way depending on that specific ecosystem, you know. Maybe there to drown is means to fly up in the sky and shit like that and get burned, you know. So yeah, so that's basically it. So have fun with your creations, and so on, and with concepts of light and darkness that will bring you out, the lights that will bring you out from the darkness. You know, you're getting out from the darkness. So there's imagination, you are separating because you're getting into that imagination. So you're jumping yourself into that imagination. So you are low-key also being separated from the darkness. Or you're getting back to the darkness, you know. But for us to get back into the darkness, I would say is like to be maybe in a meditative state when you don't think about nothing. And now the first ideas that you get, like the idea, the feeling, that's already when you created the light. So you to some degree can get to the darkness, but it's like it's not that you can see the darkness, but the thing is like people are always creating lights, so you create lights almost like any instant, like anytime that you have a thought popping up or a feeling and shit like that, you know that because basically first I think it's a thought, then goes a feeling, like, you know, some spark. The moment you get some type of spark, even like for it to initiate some type of idea, that's like when you are not being in your darkness, and then you decide to jump into it or just to ignore it and shit like that, you know, and shit like that. So yeah, that's basically it. So have fun with doing your stuff, and like I wish you an amazing evening, day, afternoon, night.